Welcome to Film on Tape, a free audio library for creatives in film and television. My name is Misha Calvert, and I've worked as an actor, writer, director, and producer for many decades. I had so many questions when I was first getting started in New York, and I just wanted fast, free answers. That is what this library is for. The work that you do as a creative is so important. I really hope that this library is going to help get your work out there. Film on Tape is sponsored by Vermilion, a coaching and educational company for creatives. You can learn more at clubvermilion.com.
Have you ever had to push through something? Probably something really hard that scares you. Maybe it's a goal that you have, or you're really pushing to get to that next level of income, or you're trying to get the bigger lead roles and all you can get is the freaking supporting roles and the verticals, and you want to book the legit, or whatever it is. Even like at the gym, there's this feeling of needing to push through, and sometimes the level of effort required to actually get to that next phase feels almost impossible. Like the mountain is so high that it's almost physically impossible to climb it. I want to give you a formula today that will help to understand why that mountain feels so unclimbable and so big, and also some practical tools and steps and ways of thinking about it, so that you might actually, after this episode, you might feel like you have the tools to push through whatever it is. Because look, the people who listen to this podcast are goddamn ambitious. You guys are out there absolutely crushing in career, and you're really swinging big. Like, this is not a small mind, small time kind of crew. The people that I talk to who listen, you are really going for your dreams. So I hope that this episode is going to be able to put into context why you sometimes hit a wall. Like, you're making gains, and then you hit a wall. It's like, I can't seem to push through this thing. This is like my plateau. Like, I don't know where to go from here or how to push through. I'm going to give you some tips that I hope will help you to do that. So I want to introduce the concept of using discomfort as a roadmap for growth. So instead of discomfort being something bad, it's actually something really good because it shows you the way forward. To explain how to use discomfort as a roadmap for growth, I first want to lay out the idea of the unaligned versus the unfamiliar. Because in order to use your discomfort accurately as a map, you're going to have to be able to discern the difference between something that is unaligned and unfamiliar. Let me explain a little bit more. So, examples of things that can look very similar, but they're in those two totally different categories. Let's say that you find yourself minimizing yourself in order to please other people. That would be unaligned, versus checking your ego and being more humble because that's just what you need to do. So that would be something maybe that's unfamiliar. Unaligned is saying yes to a low rate because you're not in your worth and you're like, oh, I don't know if I can get any better, or scarcity. So you say yes to low money, versus unfamiliar. Maybe you say yes to low money because you usually are expecting money for every single piece of creative work that you deliver. And you know this opportunity is going to open you up to a whole new community of people. So you say yes to a pro bono job not because you have low worth, but because you know it's going to yield opportunities. So unaligned could be staying up too late scrolling. Unfamiliar might be staying up too late because you're in a creative flow on a project. Unaligned is sticking with a collaborator who belittles you, versus unfamiliar might be taking on a project with a collaborator who challenges you and makes you think about things in a new way. So the difference between unaligned and unfamiliar, you have to be able to discern between the two, because in order to know whether the thing that you are trying to get is worth pushing through, it's going to be unfamiliar. If it's unaligned, it's a no-go. That's like literally it's not pushing through. It's don't go here. This is dangerous. Versus pushing through something just because it's unfamiliar. So it's really important when you're thinking about something that feels like a push, like, okay, here's a wall and my progress is stopped. And I can either push through this wall or I can give up. Well, how do you know whether to push or not? That is going to be based on your ability to determine whether this thing in front of you is either it's a push because it's unaligned or it's a push because it's unfamiliar. I also think of unaligned versus unfamiliar in terms of analysis versus emotion. And go with me on this because it really changed me once I was introduced to this concept in group therapy, actually with my family. And the therapist showed me that, and this is something that a lot of psychologists talk about, your emotions are always right. Your emotions are always accurate and they're always correct. Why? Because they just are. That's how you feel. You feel something and therefore it exists and therefore it's accurate. Versus the thing that's always wrong or incomplete is analysis. So I can be really angry and sad with my sister. And then I create a story, I create an analysis about her that she's an effing bee. And she is just like has empathy problems. And it's probably because A, B, C, D, E, F, G reasons, right? That's analysis and that's always going to be wrong. Nevertheless, we love analysis and we love going into story. But those stories they're not aligned. They're not going to help the situation. Whatever we make up, however we box somebody, that's not going to help the situation versus just staying in the emotion, acknowledging and allowing the emotion, no matter how big it is. That's probably unfamiliar because most cultures, and definitely American culture, doesn't really encourage you to be in your emotions. However, your emotional environment is what is determining whether or not you are willing to push through something or not. This is why the concept of analysis versus emotion is so critical and why you're going to have to get to know your emotions in order to push through, because the thing that is preventing you from pushing through, it's not actually something on the earth plane. It's not like just call so-and-so. There's an emotion that is blocking you from taking the action. It's not the action that's getting in the way or the lack of action. It's an emotion that is stopping you from doing the action, usually fear and some combination of negative emotions. So that's why we really need to allow emotion into the conversation here, because overcoming the emotion that's limiting you is going to allow you to push through. And I mean, that's really it. That's really it. If you deal with the emotion, you will be able to take on whatever the challenge is. You'll be able to figure it out. Analysis, aka story, often takes you out of your body and into your brain. Why is this important? Because in order for you to discern whether something is just unaligned or if it's unfamiliar, you're going to have to check in with your body. Your body is where mostly your intuition lives. So when you start going to analysis of like, well, what does it mean that this person is being this way and on the team to me, and like this coworker is making up a story about it, so-and-so. When you start to do that, you move out of your body and into your brain, and you lose touch with your intuition. Part of cultivating that discernment is starting to get comfortable staying in your body when there's something new or uncomfortable going on, and allowing yourself to have emotional reactions. Allowing the emotion. Not going up into story, the who, what, when, where, why. Stay in the emotion. Because the emotion is going to be the key to unlocking the overcoming of the fear to push through. Here are the 7 steps to pushing through.
I am so excited to tell you that I'm launching a brand new slate of classes that are incredibly helpful on my website. Some of the classes include on-camera acting technique and how to self-produce your own film, actor self-care, which is something that nobody talks about, and how to write a feature film in 10 days, which I'm going to teach you how I did it and how you can do it too. And believe me when I say I poured my heart into these courses. Go to clubvermillion.com. I am so excited about this website. I can't wait to work with you.
And thanks for going with me on this lengthy preamble, because I want you to understand how everything fits together so that you can literally just rip through these 7 steps. You could probably do all 7 steps in 5 minutes and find the courage to go after the thing that needs to be pushed through, like at the end of 5 minutes. So let's see if you feel like you can push through when I'm done with these 7. Step number 1, you need to discern the way forward. What does that mean? It means, let's say you have a goal. Maryam, what's the goal?
To be a DP.
To be a DP. And what's the immediate goal?
Work with people who know what they're doing.
Yeah, it was just a little intimidating, right? That is a big push. But step number 1 is just to discern, which we just did in like 3 seconds back and forth. DP, okay, the way forward, work with people who are like advanced and start to get on set more and more. So that's step number 1. Step number 2 is sense the unfamiliarity and try to like identify what exactly is it about this that gives me an unfamiliar feeling. Oh, it's contacting a bunch of people that I don't know and like cold pitching myself to be on their set and also to like hire me, even though they have no reason to hire me potentially, trying to convince them to hire me, all the while maybe a little bit feeling like a fraud or out of my depth. So, okay, that's the unfamiliarity. Got it. Step number 3 is feel in your body. Where's the emotion? So when you think about taking that step, okay, I feel a little flutter in my stomach. I feel my heart starting to race at the thought of picking up the phone. I feel maybe a little like light on my feet, like maybe even a little dizzy. So where do you feel in your body? And then name it and describe the emotion. So for you, Maryam, what emotion might that be?
Like anxiety.
Anxiety, okay. And where do you feel it in your body?
My chest.
Your chest. Anywhere else?
It's like concentrated.
Like a clenching? Any other emotions that you can name?
Excitement.
Excitement, yeah.
Nervousness.
Mm-hmm. And so if you keep drilling down and like chipping away, you might find other emotions too. Like in addition to the fear, there might be some anger. Like, why do I have to do this? I should just have opportunities. You know, we start to get into story, but you can look for the emotion or maybe sadness. Like, I should have done this a long time ago, right? Like you can let the story point you to the emotion that you're feeling, but really be with the emotion if you can and name it. Step number 4 is to meet the emotion with deep compassion. So let's say fear. Really allowing the fear to live fully and to be fully present and big and alive, and to love the fear, to love it, and to honor it and say, okay, you're trying to show me something, fear. Thank you. You're trying to teach me something here, or maybe protect me. Like, thank you, fear. I honor you. And, you know, however you want to talk to your own feeling, or you just kind of bask it in your warm, loving presence. Do not ignore the emotion. You must meet it with compassion. Because if you suppress it, it will only get louder. Remember, the emotion is what's stopping you from the forward movement. So once you've met it with compassion, you want to find safety in another person emotionally. That can look like a friend, a lover, your parents, family members, a social circle, but someone who you can really trust to open up to them and they've got you. And psychologists talk about this, where when there's trauma, the amount of damage that you incur from the trauma isn't so much dependent on the severity of the trauma. It's dependent on who you had around you at the time to support you through the trauma. So literally, the scale of injury will depend on, did you have anyone there supporting you and helping you get through it? Because if you did, a really big event might actually only leave a small amount of damage. The same is true of looking at really big goals or really big steps. If you can feel like, okay, no matter what, I've got my best friend here who's going to offer emotional support, and I'll be good. It could all fall apart. I'm still going to be supported. I'm not going to be alone. That goes a long, long way. So you want to try to create that safety in somebody else emotionally. Step number 6 is build safety logically. What is your backup plan? What happens if it fails? Do you have a sort of emergency strategy to get out of it or restore to the status quo? What are you going to do if it works? So if you can create a logical plan for pushing through and what happens if it backfires, you're covered. The brain doesn't like uncertainty. It would rather be low-key miserable than go for something that it doesn't know how it's going to pan out. So just run the thought model of, okay, how might this possibly go? And what is my logical plan for approaching this goal that I need to push through? Step number 7 is do it. Do the hard thing. And if you've gone through the previous 6 steps, you're probably going to feel ready to do the hard thing. I don't know, Maryam, you tell me, do you feel a little bit more ready now?
Yes.
Which of the steps was the most helpful for you?
The second. What is the second?
Sensing the unfamiliarity.
Yes.
And naming it. What is unfamiliar about this thing that I have to push through? Incredible. The hardest of those 7 steps will probably be different for everybody. But you see how quickly we were able to just walk right through it. So feel free to replay this episode with any topic that you are trying to push through right now and see if by the end of it, you don't feel ready to literally stop the podcast and go and start the action. Oh my God, that would make me so happy. That's literally what I want. Like, I want to put myself out of business with this podcast. I want you to get so fired up that you stop listening and you just go run off and start doing the thing that we're talking about. That would make me really happy to have like a whole library of unfinished episodes in your podcast player. So please go give it a try. You try it on and you tell me if this works for you, because I want to know. And I wish you extraordinary luck in pushing through. I think it's going to work. Good luck. I'll see you on the other side.
Thank you so much for listening to Film on Tape. If you like the way that I approach the industry, check out our other classes, consulting, and mentorship at clubvermilion.com. Vermilion is a home for artists and those looking to expand creatively. Whether you're an actor, a film professional, an entrepreneur, or a CEO, we'll help you find your voice and hone your skills to thrive in any market at any scale. You can schedule a free phone consultation at clubvermilion.com.